and do that, there we go. We'll be ready to go. So I see we've got some Florida people here, and the great thing about it is I know your weather's a little bit better than Connecticut, but guess what? We're coming into the spring market, and the spring market starts having more people at open houses, more buyers out there, more things. So you can kind of see the theme that what we'll do. And next week, Kelly's going to be talking about some of the paperwork that you need, and so forth with that. But talking to buyers, what does a buyer look like? What ways can we capture a buyer? How do we get in front of it? How do I sell really my value? And for those of you who were in the business back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, boy, listings were, you know, getting 9-month, 1 year listing agreements. It was really, how do I get a buyer? Because if I get a buyer, boy, I'm going to sell something. And I know right now with the inventory levels in Florida, buyers are hot right now. But how can I now, with the changes with a buyer broker, show my value? What can I do? Um, I think I can share my screen a little bit too, and as we go through this, you should have your own, not only elevator speech, but have some sort of presentation made. We have a buyer's guide that I'm not going to go through each page of this, but we'll thumb through it. But you should have some sort of presentation, and you can customize it with marketing, whether that's with Olive, wherever your marketing coordinator is, who you are. You should be giving them something as a buyer, right? Just like a listing, you would never walk into a listing appointment with nothing, right? You want to have something. So, your bio, stuff about the company, really, when you start talking about your company recognition, why Century 21 is the most respected company, the history of the company, all those different things you want to have with you, because that goes a long way. They're working with the 17th largest Century 21 in the country. They have all the different services you have. When you start talking about what you have, whether it's working with, you have a marketing coordinator, transaction coordinator, all those different things. Having, even if they never use, and you start talking about their preferences, they can see that you're prepared. I want to see, how many bedrooms are you looking for? What's your parameters? All those things. It makes you look a little different than the next buyer they're going to see. And if you haven't seen this, we'll send this all out. But here's the thing, from contract to close and beyond. Okay, this is what you really want to start talking about. And again, you can talk about all the different tools, different things, why people are happy with Century 21. But the biggest thing is you. Here's the thing, people are looking for knowledge. Okay, the process, and here's a great graph, the process is a lot. Okay, I can go on any website and see pictures of a house and say, oh, let me see that house. Terrific, great. But here's everything, and this is where I like to focus in on. And I'm going to use, I see Carl here. I'm going to use Carl as like my buyer. And I'm going to bring a presentation. When I get to meet with Carl or talk to Carl, whether that's in the office, in their house, at a house, I want to talk to Carl about everything that we're going to do and offer. And I'm going to say, hey, Carl, it was great. I'm going to take this out. Carl, let's talk a little bit. I want to get an idea of what you're looking for. What type of information are you looking for? And Carl's going to sit there and say, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house. I'm looking for, I want to be in this town or these towns, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to take it all down. Carl, have you been pre-approved? I'm going to go through those pre-qualifying questions. Carl, what's your time frame? When do you want to move? That's an important piece. Asking these pre-qualifying questions to Carl and figuring things out. And Carl might be, hey, we're looking to move whenever the right house comes up. Great, I know that now. But I'm going to start writing notes down in my presentation with Carl. And I'm going to say, okay, Carl, here's what we want to look at. I understand that you and your wife are looking for a minimum 3-bedroom house in the Stamford area. You're looking for a yard, preferably fenced in because you have multiple golden retrievers. And you want something with somewhat of an open floor plan because you like to host some people and you like to have people over, whether you're having a drink or some dinner and stuff like that. A ranch would be preferred, or a first floor master, maybe. But we're not really care about that. And close to the highway or close commuting because we do commute and we like to go back and forth into the city or whatever that may be. Now, Carl, you said your time frame is you're looking to buy in the next few months, but when that perfect house comes available. If I found the perfect house available today, Carl, would you be prepared to buy? And Let's just pretend Carl says yes. Great. So what we're going to do here, Carl, is, and I'm going to show him this. There's a lot of different things we can look at. Okay. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. There's a lot of people that are going to be involved in this transaction. So have you been pre-approved? No. Okay. Well, here's All Points Mortgage. Here's, maybe I give them two options. Call these people. Let's get you pre-approved. In this marketplace, no one accepts an offer unless you've been pre-approved. I'm going to lay down the foundations and make sure his homework's done. And Carl, here's how the process is going to work. Okay. Once we get you pre-approved, we're going to look at homes. You said you're looking for up to $1 million. And by the way, folks, in the Stanford market, for those of you in Florida, $1 million is going to get you a fixer-upper. So, it's not a big price point, but we're looking for up to $1 million. So, Carl, here's what's going to happen. And here I want you to know what I offer. Carl, by working with me, all my fiduciary responsibilities are going to be with you. I am going to help you find the home that you want. And if we find it today, great. And if it takes us 3 months, we're still going to find that home. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up on an automated search. I just want you to understand you can go to a million different websites. Some of them aren't accurate. Homes may already have 10 offers on them. They might be under contract. The pictures may not be accurate. Just know the search I'm going to send you is directly from your MLS and giving you the up-to-date information on that property. So it is immediate. It may not be 2 days behind, 3 days behind, not updated, price is not updated, all those different things. Sometimes some of these websites have listings that are a year old and they never got them off. What I'm going to do, though, is as you get these real-time emails, I'm going to be on this. I'm also going to be talking to my office, other brokers in the area, seeing what might be coming soon on the market, trying to talk to different people. And I'm actually going to look into neighborhoods that you're looking for and other houses, and I'm going to try to send them letters. I'm going to reach out to them to find that maybe even some homes that aren't on the market that could be if anybody's interested in selling. When we have that, when we find things you're going to want, we're going to go out and look at the houses. You're going to be pre-approved right now. We're going to look at houses. We'll go through the house, make sure it fits your needs, see what you like. We'll look at multiple offers. We'll do a financial analysis on the price point of that house. Does it make sense? We'll take a quick look, seeing like you may not like a kitchen or bathroom, but if this is going to be in your home, are you going to be there for 10 years? Yeah, this is going to be our last house. Great. We're going to make sure that we can do that. We can get an idea of what the valuations will look like. And I'm going to help you through that process. Also, kind of give you a rough idea of if there's an HOA fee, if there's any other type of fees there that may look like that, or if there's not a fenced-in yard for your dogs, hey, we know we got to add that on. Can we put a fence in? We're going to look at all those different things. As we look at houses, the one you like, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to negotiate with the seller of the property. I'm going to give them a call. I'm going to talk to them that. We're going to put you and your best interest in thing. So we're going to present that offer to them. I'll negotiate with the seller on your behalf, and we're going to only negotiate on what you feel comfortable with. And then once we get that accepted, then I'm going to help you coordinate not only with your attorney for closing, but home inspector, any type of survey that may need to be done, any questions you may have about the town. We'll make sure that there's proper permits done. We're going to look all that stuff up. And I want to make sure all that's done. And we're going to do that in a really quick time. So things are going to move fast, Carl. But when we get a house, it's going to all happen within the first week. Once that's done, we're going to negotiate any issues, make sure everything's right, everything's standard for that, make sure that everything is done and, mechanicals working. All that stuff is in good shape for your inspections. If we have to negotiate anything, I will do that. Once we get through that, we'll make sure all your financing is available, whether you're doing a cash to keys program, whether you're paying cash. We're still going to prepare you to get to that closing date. I'll make sure we get to the closing, we're doing another walkthrough, make sure everything's still in the right shape we want, make sure everything's right, make sure your insurance is in place. I can help you coordinate your moving company, your utilities change. I'll talk to you about, I don't know if you want a home security system set up. We need to get Ring doorbells. We'll make sure that obviously, CO monitor detectors and fire detectors, all that stuff is working in the house. Everything ready for you to make a move. I'll coordinate and help you to coordinate with your movers for the move into the house. If you need to get in there, any contracts you need, maybe you want a room painted, different things like that before, I can help do that. And then we can get things in there. Once you close, we'll be ready to go. So this is going to be like, boy, turnkey, ready to move. How does that sound, Carl? So Carl's nodding over there. Sounds good. Okay. So
Where do
Carl,
I sign?
so then I'm going to say, no, so Carl, here's the one thing. Carl, you know what? And I'm going to laugh about this. I obviously don't work for free, but I'm not looking for anything from you right now. Okay. What I'm going to do is in the state it's a national law. We have to have a buyer broker signed. This buyer broker shows that I represent you. And here's the thing. I charge 3%. Now, I only get paid, Carl, if you close on the house that you want and the property that you want. Carl,
Do
go
I
ahead. Give
have
me
to,
some
do
pushback.
I have to pay that or will the seller pay that?
So, Carl, that's a great question. So, what I'm going to do and I'm going to have the form with me. I am going to ask for the seller to pay for that. I'm going to put that 3% out there to the seller on every offer we have. And what we're going to do is make sure that, and Carl, you said you can afford $1 million. So we're going to make sure that you're only going to pay up to that price point that you want. Give me more pushback, Carl. What if the seller says no? Okay, good question, Carl. So what we're going to do is, Carl, is we're going to look at that price. Okay. Now, I would hope too that I'll talk to that agent that I can imagine when you sell your house, Carl, do you want to pay, do you want to pay the commission or do you want the buyer to pay the commission? You're going to say, well, I would love for someone else to pay the commission. So the seller is going to understand that. What we're going to do is we're going to negotiate that price. So if we offer 990 on this house, maybe we offer a little bit different number. We will get this done. I can actually work with your lender too to make sure the financing is done to cover that. So, but I am going to continue to offer that from the seller. And if the seller at the end of the day says no, then again, what we're looking at is you spending up to $1 million. If that doesn't come in and that's not going to work, and that property doesn't come to work, then we didn't get a deal. Then I'm going to go find another house for you. So I'm going to make sure that within your budget, you're only going to pay what you're going to pay. We're going to request it from the seller. If they don't want to actually pay it directly, we can lower the sales price. We can talk to your bank about some different options too. And we will look at that and make sure that you only pay what you're willing to go buy a house for. Does that sound fair?
Sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing, Carl, just so you know too, the only time I'm going to get compensated is if you close. So even if we get all the ways up to the day of closing and something goes wrong, don't worry. You don't owe me that 3%. We're going to go find another house.
Okay. That's good. Now, how long do I have to sign this for?
Well, Carl, that's up to you. And I'll tell you what, I would like to prove myself to you. And what I'd like to do is I want to sign a buyer broker with you and your wife. And we're going to sign it right now for 1 week.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show myself that during this week, and it's going to cover the houses that we look at, that you're working with me. And if I do a good job and we're going out on Saturday and Sunday, will you agree to extend that for at least a month until we find the house?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. And I'll tell you what, if you sit there and say, hey, you know what, PJ, not the road we're going on, I will completely respect that and we can part ways. But the one thing, Carl, is I'm not going to ask you to commit to myself for 6 months right now unless you do that. Now, folks, I'm using this as an example of somebody I don't know, right? If this is my cousin or, hey, Jody, we've known each
Yeah.
other for years, I'm going to sign her up for 3 months. And I'm going to say, Jody, you know what? We're going to find a house. It's going to take a month. It's going to take a few months, and I'm going to go through that time frame. But don't worry about a pushback. Say you're going to prove yourself to them, and then follow up with the stuff you're going to do. But I'm going to quit. So, Carl, if I do a good job and we get through these 5 showings, we're going to go look at houses this weekend. Will you agree then we'll extend it then for another month and keep working together?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Sure.
Perfect. So again, folks, like you can see, if I know, Nicole's my cousin, of course I'm going to sign Nicole up for like 6 months. No big deal. But somebody I don't know, somebody who's willing to sign and you're asking for money, I'm going to guarantee, Carl, I do a good job. And if I don't, you can go work with Keith. It's okay. Because I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And Carl, you got to understand, by signing with me, I only get paid if there's a closing. So I am here to do a great job. And if things change that you guys now want a 4-bedroom or anything, no problem. We'll just change in what we're doing. So the idea is showing a presentation and going through everything that you do is really important. Because if I just went to Jody and I met her at an open house and I said, oh, yeah. Oh, Jody goes, well, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in West Hartford, Connecticut. Oh, that's great. Sure. Here, sign here. Do I have to pay this? What am I paying for? What do I have to do? There's no trust yet. But if I show her everything I'm going to do, and if she's still hesitant about signing, let me prove myself to you, Jody. Let's go look at houses with you and Tom for the next 2 weeks. And then if I do a good job, would you agree to sign with me longer? And again, I'm going to do this all for free. I'm not charging you. And if I don't, then you have every right to say, hey, this isn't a good fit.
After you just showed me all that you do, I would definitely sign.
Yeah. Here's another question. PJ, what if things aren't working well in 2 months, 3 months? Now what? Hey, Carl, you know what? I appreciate you working with me, but I'll tell you what, if we're 2, 3 months into this road and our communication isn't, and I'm not doing what you need to be done, then that's on me. Right. My point is it'll never get to that, Carl, because if we're not finding the house we want, if it's not in the right price point, I'm going to show you everything. If it's not there, then I want you to say, hey, maybe we need to look at something different. I'm here to work for you. You're my client, Carl. So we're never going to get to a point 3 months down the road where we have that. And by the way, folks, if you are 3 months down the road and you don't have communication with somebody, that's on you. That's on you. Because it's simple in this day and age to shoot them a text being like, hey, nothing new has come on the market. Do you still want to only look in Stamford? Are you open to looking in Norwalk? Are you open to look in Newtown? No, PJ, we only want Stamford. Okay. I'm still having that dialogue. I'm still working through that process with him. Hey, Nicole, I know you guys wanted 4 bedrooms. I haven't been able to find 4 bedrooms, but would you guys be open to if we found a house that had 3 bedrooms and a den? Could that work? No, PJ, I need 4 bedrooms. Okay. I know you were only looking in Niceville. Would you be opening to look in Crestview too? Only, Nicole, if it had everything. Maybe that other wish list is a pool. What if we could find the 4 bedrooms in a neighborhood with the pool, close to water, that you can park your boat at and have an easy launch to get it in on the boat launch? Would you entertain Crestview? We might if it's the perfect house. You know what, Nicole? I'm going to set up a separate search that's called Crestview Dream Home and see if we can get it. Right. So again, like I can keep working them and keep kind of adding, deleting, doing different things. The other thing that you have to do with your buyer, Carl and I went out, Jody and Tom and I went out, we looked at 5 houses. Didn't find what we wanted. Jody, let me ask you in time, and maybe you guys want to talk first and get back to me, but let me ask you guys. We've looked at 10 houses. None of them you didn't want to put an offer on one. I understand they didn't hit it. Tell me, let's go through a couple of them. What are some of the things that made you not want to put an offer? What are some of the things you really liked? Maybe if we can combine, I can maybe change your search a little bit or find something. And she may say, oh, you know what, PJ? Everything we look at is a colonial and we really wanted a ranch. Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe I might have asked that from day one and they said it's not that important, but every time they're going in, they're not seeing it. Oh, you know what, PJ? I know we said 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. We kind of think we might need 2.5 baths. Oh, they changed. That's okay. We all change. We go through a house going, I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it feels. But maybe, or maybe she said, I didn't like any of the colors of them. Now I know. Hey, Jody, by the way, looking at the size of this house, it's 2,000 square feet. If we painted every room in the house, it's going to be about $6,000. Give her that option. Oh, you know what, Jody? This is a place we could add a bathroom. Look at this mudroom. Hey, what about if we did a half bath down in, Florida? I know you don't have basements, but maybe we did it in the basement or Florida. Maybe we've got this other area that we could add. Oh, I'm down. I can see where the plumbing is. I could do, like looking for solutions, because if Jody's looking for an extra half bath and she's looking to spend $500,000 or $1 million or $300,000, I might find something for $250 that doesn't have it, but for $20,000, she could have it. And it's still within her price point. And by the way, if I'm reaching out to Jody saying, hey, Jody, I know you were looking for 2.5 baths, 3 bedroom. I found something that's got 1.5 baths, but I think there could be an opportunity. It's about $30,000 less than I think there's an opportunity we could add another full bath. Hey, I'm not saying you got to buy it, but what about you and Tom? Why don't we run out and check this out? Because I know we could put I want to see it too, but I'm confident we might be able to put a bathroom in for $20,000 and keep it under the price point you're looking at. She may say, yeah, PJ, I'll go take a look. Or she may say, you know what? I don't want to live in construction. I don't want to deal with it, PJ. Tom and I don't have time. We're busy. We're so active. I don't have time to go manage that. No problem. No problem. Now I know. And you know what Jody's going to say? Wow, he's out there looking for me. Don't worry, Jody. Hey, you know what? The place that you liked that we couldn't get, I actually looked at other homes like that. I sent out a letter. I sent out a letter that I have a pre-approved buyer who looked at a home in your neighborhood, they didn't get it, and they're looking for a home just like this. They're looking for 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Call me if you're thinking of selling. I have a pre-approved buyer who can come look at it within 24 hours. I could send it to 50 people and it cost me $25. It's now. Or even better, I could take that letter and I could go door knock the neighborhood and maybe talk to somebody and leave that letter in the door. Not the mailbox. Don't leave it in the mailbox. In the door. Boy, that looks a little different. Hey, Jody, I just want to let you know, I went into that neighborhood over by West Farms and I went door knocking and I left the letter saying I had a pre-approved buyer. So I don't know if anything will come up with it, but I just want to let you know I do that. You know what? She's going to sit there and go back and go, hey, Tom, you know what PJ did? He went through that neighborhood and left the letter. And then he mailed a letter on top of it. How many agents are doing that? Carl, how many of your agents are doing that?
Not many.
Right. How many agents are in Stamford, Connecticut, Carl?
We have roughly 950.
950 agents. I'm going to guess that less than 5% of them do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to go back to Carl again. So Carl, if this is the things I'm doing this, you think Carl's going to have a problem with signing with me and working with me?
The only thing I would be concerned about is what's your experience with multiple offers?
Hey, great question, Carl. Here's what happens with multiple offers, right? The seller has many options, right? They can accept an offer, they can ask for best and final, they can negotiate with everybody, they can turn them all down. What I like to do in multiple offers is I'm going to sit down with you and your wife. We're going to go over what the valuation is, and then I might give you a number that you may think I'm crazy that this house could go for. But knowing that we're in multiple offers, we never want to negotiate with ourselves. So what I like to do, Carl, is I'm going to give you all the numbers that I have. We're going to go in and I'm going to say we can do a couple different options to try to make you stand out. I've got drastic options. You can make your deposit non-refundable. Carl's going to go, I'm not willing to do that right yet, right? But okay, so Carl, let's look at something. We can add in an escalation clause. The house is listed for $900,000. Why don't we go up to this number and it goes up $5,000 by the next best offer you have in writing? If they don't want to escalation clause, Carl, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you and your wife to talk. I'm going to give you all the data. I want you to let me know where you think, and I want you to come up with a number that if you wake up tomorrow and didn't get it, you say, that's okay. I didn't want to go that high. The last thing I want you and your wife to get a call is saying, oh my God, I can't believe we didn't get it over $5,000. That's what I don't want. So what I'm going to do is when we come up with that, I'm not only going to submit the offer, Carl, I'm going to call the agent up. I'm going to make sure that I get them on the phone. I'm going to text them that they received it, but then I'm going to talk to them and say, are there any questions? Where do I stand? I know you can't tell anything, but is there anything that's important to the seller? Closing date, inspections, anything we could do to help them get out of there? You know, is there anything that they're willing, that's something that we can help them with on a closing date, a rent back, anything like that? My buyers are really excited about this home, and we are willing to help accommodate the sellers and make their transition as smooth as possible. So on multiple offers, Carl, we'll look at everything. We're going to collaborate together on this. We're going to come up with some different plans. We're going to try to work with the sellers. I'm going to try to get some information out about the sellers and then to do some and see where we stand. But we'll make sure that you and your wife are never go to a point where you're uncomfortable in the process.
That sounds good because we really want an aggressive agent because we hear houses that are just flying off the shelf.
They are. It's a really busy market, and that's why I need you to get pre-approved. I'm going to talk to you. Have talked to a couple programs. We can look at it if there's a way we can kind of get you even approved based on the property because of your finances. That's a stronger way. We might be able to drop a mortgage contingency date. We might be able to look at programs like cash to keys if you want to go out that level to do that. So you're coming in with cash. We can talk to you, and your financial person can talk to you different options. And then I'm going to make sure that when we present an offer, boy, we're going to come in strong because it is that type of market, and we're going to come in that we're going to wow them, right? We're going to really wow them and give them a lot of feedback and talk to the seller.
Sounds good.
All right, folks, I'm going to turn it over to any questions that anybody has or any comments, but you can see is one, you need to have something. It can be a form presentation, but you need to have something to give them to them. It shows that you're prepared. It shows that you care. It shows you're taking notes. It shows you just didn't show up with a buyer broker for them to sign because no one likes to sign a contract. Two, you need to explain everything you do. You all do a lot. You do a ton. And when somebody says, I don't know if I want to sign, it's because we haven't shown everything that they've done. So you need to show that. And by the way, if you get somebody who, no matter what you're doing, doesn't want to sign with you and won't commit to you, well, one, it's the law. But two, is that somebody you really want to work with? You know, they don't go to their orthopedic doctor for their shoulder and say, "Oh, your copay today is going to be $100." I'm not paying. Let me find another doctor who doesn't do that. I can find you a doctor that takes cash only. You might never pick your arm up again, but I can find one. Think about this. Like, you're a professional, work with people you want to work with, show your value, and then go through it and explain to them. You're not getting paid working for 40 hours a week. You're not getting paid calling. You're actually spending money sending a letter. You're not getting paid by knocking on doors for them. You're not getting paid for calling other agents, going to your office, calling other managers and other marketplaces saying, do you have anything coming on by chance? Anybody know of anything? Texting agents in your office, doing this, doing the cross, the reverse cross searches in the MLS, right? Doing that, like combing stuff. Going to look at new construction that may not be on the market, talking to them about what's going on in the marketplace. Like, then I'm going to tell them I get paid only at closing. And if I do that, you're going to be in a much better spot of people not only signing buyer brokers, but then signing long-term with you and getting 3%. Because I'll tell you what, if somebody finally wanted a $500,000 house and can't get it, and they get it, and if they end up having to pay $2 or $3 grand more for the house, boy, they're not going to be upset. Yeah, Olga, did you have a question?
Yeah, where can we get the buyer's presentation plan?
We'll get it sent out. I'm going to get this out, and I'll have it. Respectfully, whoever's in your office will get it out to you.
Okay, and what is the reverse cross searches? I don't know what that is.
Jenny, yeah, there is a buyer's thing in Moxie. There absolutely is one in there, and then we have another one, a PDF version too. So yes, it is the same thing there, Jenny. Jody, do you know? Have you done that with the cross?
Yeah. In the last session that I did, Olga, on the last page, there's a link to 2 of them. The cross directory everything's online now. Most of it you have to pay for, but we do have some things that we get that we can look things up, like forewarn. We don't pay for, we get it through the board. I think Florida has the same thing. But so there's a lot of them.
Is that the last session that you did Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I wasn't there. I wasn't.
You can't miss your classes.
Again.
So no, I'm just kidding. But don't miss your classes. But no, there's ways where
I
you
know.
can go get buyers. So basically in the MLS too, like there's ways where people, if they're set up on an automatic, stuff's not going to the people, it's going to the agent. Like you can, you can't do that, but you can see if what's there. The other thing too is simply when you can cross-reference yourself, right? Like if I have a buyer who's looking for a $500,000 house and I go into Jody's listing and I don't like it, I'm going to ask Jody. I'm going to be an agent. I don't even have to go to the open house. Hey, Jody, my people did come to an open house, or I was with them. Hey, you know of anything else coming on? Like, there's thousands of realtors. Use the people you know. Be part of that community. We all know little things going on. We all do. And I can't tell you how many people have, like, I'm not going to say this bad word, but I'll say it, pocket listings. Everybody's got them. The offices have them. We walk around the office. Somebody's got, I got a cool thing coming on April 1st. They're, they're painting. They're getting cleaned up. That's why talking to other realtors and knowing what's going on is so important. And I know Dee's not on, but Dee still does a broker tour out of the Niceville office. There's stuff like that. A lot of that stuff has gone away. But get back involved with those little things and talk to realtors. Pick up the phone and talk to people how's it going? What are you seeing out there? Having little data that you might know. I'm telling you, we all know at office meetings, there's somebody going, "Hey, I've got a buyer need. I've got 2 listings coming on next month." Here, I'm going to say this. Ken, you just popped on. You don't even know what we're talking about. So Ken, unmute yourself for this, and I want you to answer this. Ken, do you have any listings you are working on coming up that would come on the market in the next 30 to 45 days?
I absolutely do.
Oh, and I'm going to say this. Keith, do you know about them? Probably not yet. But guess what? That's why go to office meetings, have this dialogue, because boy, if Keith goes, "I got $1 million listing," and Ken goes, "Working on $1 million thing over in Niceville." Oh, Ken, let's talk. And
The
you know
agents,
what?
the agents in the
Ron?
office know that I have them.
Right. And that's why. So, and if you don't go to an office meeting or you're not out there, you don't know. But Ron, if you remember a few weeks ago in Niceville, Jordan had a listing coming on, and all of a sudden we were all there. And Chelsea goes, "I may have a buyer for that. Let's talk after." They sold, I think it might have was in Crestview. They sold the property in one day. Her buyers wanted something in this neighborhood because they were in that neighborhood. And she got to talk to Jordan. Bringing him on the market, the people were boom in there the same day and bought it. And you know what? If neither of them were at that office meeting or neither of them were talking, that doesn't happen. Chelsea's buyers think she's a rock star, right? Think she's a rock star for, "We wanted to be in this neighborhood and you got us in the neighborhood." And Jordan's people are like, Jordan's sitting there going, "Well, the average days in the market, it's going to take at least 3 to 4 months before it sells, blah, blah." I got an offer that's almost full price in one day. How are you looking now? Good. And by the way, they didn't take any magic crazy pill or shiny tool or technology. It was having a conversation.
Hi, PJ. It's Larissa here. Could I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay, I guess it's more of a statement than questions. When you talked about know your value, agents know your value. You should be proud of yourself and who you are, and working for Century 21 and having the support that you have from Ryan, Kelly, PJ, TC's marketing assistant. We're a big supportive group, and we've got a lot to offer to help you. So know your value and be proud of that. And also, if any of you guys have issues with, with zip forms and how to fill out the paperwork, and maybe you're a little nervous about it all, reach out to your TC. We're here to help you with the paperwork. Don't let the paperwork bog you down from knowing your value. We can work it out for you and get you guys set up so you're in a much better position to want to work with buyers. So good luck, and we're here for you.
Thanks, Larissa. This sounds a little crazy, but I really want everyone to kind of really think about this. If Jody was going to spend $500,000, we talked about some people spending $1 million, $1 million. They're spending $1 million, and you're only asking for 3% of that. That's all you're working for. $500,000, 3% is $15,000. A lot of places are charging 10%, not real estate, but other industries, right? Like there's people pay for stuff. Heck, in Connecticut, if we go to the Stop and Shop and we spend $100, we pay another, or CVS, go to CVS, guys. Spend $100 at CVS. And you're paying another 6% on taxes. Actually, more than that. 6.25%. People will literally pay 6, 7, 8%, 9%. They'll go in and get dinner at Pepito's in Florida, and they'll pay 25% tip. and we're asking for 3, 2.5. They'll pay more in taxes at Walmart than they will to spend $1 million and have a professional walk them through and cover them and have licensed people make sure all their paperwork's compliant, they're legal, coordinating with attorney, the title's clear, the surveys are right, they have the right financing. We're asking for 2.5%, 3% of that, but they'll pay 20% tip, they'll pay 6% in taxes at Walmart. Think of that. Like, put that in your head to make you more confident. Because when I go to Walmart and spend $100 on toilet paper, paper towels, Kleenex, laundry detergent, right? That's what I go to Walmart for. And in Connecticut, that ends up being 6.5%. I just pay another $6.50 for taxes, right? My God, can you imagine spending $1 million and I don't want to spend 3% for someone to make sure that $1 million investment is not being taken care of correctly? Crazy. Hey, these people in real estate will spend 10% to manage the property every month. 10%. But to buy it, they will pay if you show value. They will pay you 3% if you show the value. So, any other questions or comments? But have a presentation. Jenny said there is one in Moxie. We're going to get this all out to you. But you can obviously customize something, have stuff, take some notes, ask them when do they want to buy? What are they looking for? What are the top 3 things? Just like when you go on a listing appointment, when I say, hey, Jody, when you bought this property, where'd you find it? What are the 3 things that you and Tom love that you wanted this property? Now I know how to market it, selling it, but buying it. So, Jody, what are the top 3 things that you and Tom are looking for? Well, our grandkid is in this. I want to be here close to my grandkid. I want to be in 15 minutes so I can get over to the house. Boom. Guess what? I know what's the number one thing. We need 3 bedrooms. We have to have 3 bedrooms. I can't do 2. Okay. I know Nicole jumped off and she's there, right? But Nicole, I can't go into a place that I can't park my boat. Okay. Boom. That's important. Condo has to be dog friendly. You know, there's people who are going to want to be like, I walk every morning. Oh, walk every morning. When I drive down the neighborhood, hey, Jody, you guys say you walk the dog every morning. Notice all the sidewalks. I used to always, when I showed when I was then, I had little kids and people with kids, because it was kind of people I had, was driving down the street. Oh, I didn't say anything. Look, there's another basketball hoop. Oh, there's a playscape. There's another basketball hoop. There's a playscape. Look at the bikes in their front yard. There's a scooter. Oh, yeah. What does that mean? There's 15 houses with kids in the neighborhood. Not steering, pointing stuff out. Hey, you need to be close to the boat launch, or you have a boat. Hey, there's the boat launch. It's 4:02. We're pulling in the driveway at 4:05. Point things out. My wife works in Hartford. It's 2 miles from the on-ramp to the highway. 2 miles, 1 traffic light. Those little things add up. Show your value. That's value, right? That's value.
PJ, would it be safe to advise your clients if they're looking for a neighborhood with or without kids? Like, if you want to know how many kids live in the neighborhood, come by here when the school bus drops off.
Yes, just don't be careful how you say that, right? Hey, they have kids, whatever. Like, hey, you know what I will say is maybe swing through the neighborhood. I always say this. Always good to know a neighborhood that you're looking to buy in. Come at different times of the day. I'm going to show you the property at, and what you may do, Julie, instead is schedule the showing at 4:00 when the school bus is coming through, right? Think that
Perfect.
way. But I always say then too, if you don't, say, hey, you know what? Come by and check the neighborhood out at 5:00 today. See what it looks like.
Perfect.
Actually, if you show at night, it looks different during the day. Just don't say, hey, come by when the school bus is coming. You can't say that, right? Because now we're starting to steer. But just tell people, hey, you should swing by the place, at a different time of the day.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, just be careful of steering. But people are going to say, I want to be close to a school. You might get somebody like, look, hey, how about this? I don't want to be somebody where's Airbnb in it every weekend. And I got a neighbor banging on the door, playing the radio loud. You can do some research on that. But yeah, just obviously don't steer. Be careful. If somebody asks about schools, just send them the link to the school report. Here you can look up all the schools and they have the thing. So you can go look up any school you want right here. Here you go. You're not telling them. You're just giving them access where to look. And yeah, if they, well, we want to be in a neighborhood with a lot of kids. Well, you know what? I can't guarantee, but let's go down and look at the neighborhood. And they'll start figuring stuff out. But no steering. All right, folks. Look, no, even if you don't if you're uncomfortable doing that value, go practice it in the mirror. Go into your office and practice it. Practice it with your manager. Practice with another agent. Practice it with anybody. Practice it on your dog. Say what you do, because if you say it 10 times, you're going to feel good. And by the way, again, remember, crazy to think about this, but people will pay a higher percentage at Walmart in taxes in Connecticut than they'll pay you for $1 million house. People will go into Pepitos or Cracked Egg in Florida, and they'll pay a bigger tip, a bigger percentage for breakfast than they will on their investment of a house. They're okay paying. They want service. Show everything you do, prove yourself, and they will sign buyer brokers. They won't have an issue with it. All right, everybody, take care. Spring is here, so there's buyers out there. They're coming and coming and coming. It's going to get busier and busier and busier. Things are ramping up. It's going to be April before we know it, and so get out there, prospect, talk to people, talk to them about the market, tell them what's going on, tell them if there's a new subdivision coming in, tell them there's this, tell them there's that. Be the person that is in the know and knows everything going on, and they're going to want to work with you too. Oh, and by the way, rates came down again. So if somebody got pre-approved a month ago, they're probably at like 7.25. They now can get close to 6.5. So get them pre-approved again.